Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reel Me In, a movie podcast, where you didn't really ask for it, but hey, I'm going to give it to you anyways. This is a podcast where I talk about anything, everything, and anything about movies. I'm your host, Chase Lee, and guys, this is another episode. I'm going to come flying at you, and it's going to be a good one today. This is episode 121, and there's a lot to discuss today. If you are brand new to this podcast, welcome. You probably made a wrong choice in life, but that's okay. I will guide you through it. To give you a rundown of what I do on this show is I will go over some movie news that came out during the week. I will discuss some trailers that came out, and then I'm going to have my review for 10 Cloverfield Lane, as well as my rundown of 7 movies that I saw at South by Southwest so far, and then, of course, the box office results for the weekend. A little housekeeping before we start. If you're listening on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, and now iTunes, and you want a video version of this podcast, link will be in the description below. And if you're watching on YouTube and you want an audio-only version, link will be in the description below for that. And if you're watching on YouTube, as you can see, I got these little lower thirds here. So if there's a story you want to skip, if you want to skip the news, you want to go straight to the review, or you don't want to hear about the review and you want to skip that, just look at the header change and you'll be good to go. As far as the audio-only listeners, I haven't figured that out yet because I am not smart. So with that being said, guys, let's get this started. But first, how you guys doing? You guys doing pretty good? This has been a busy week. It really has. I went to South by Southwest. I literally just got back at the time of this recording an hour ago, and I saw 7 movies. I saw 3 on Friday, and I saw 4 on Saturday. I'm not going to go into full reviews on all of them. I'm just going to give you kind of like my quick thoughts on them, and I'm not going to even grade them. I'm just going to give you my quick thoughts and stuff, and if you want to see like a full review of that specific movie, my YouTube channel will have those reviews up probably throughout the next a few days or whatever, so just look out for that. But yeah, if you want a more in-depth of the reviews, then you'll just have to go to my YouTube page and check that out. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with some movie news, and the first piece of news I want to talk about is it is one of the bigger ones this week, and it involves J.K. Simmons. Now, I love J.K. Simmons. I think he's a fantastic character actor. Whiplash is one of my favorite movies of all time now, and that movie only came out 2 years ago. He is incredibly terrifying and incredibly engaging in that movie. He won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. He's a great character actor. He's also J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man trilogy. So what's the news then? Well, speaking of comic books, he's going to be Commissioner Gordon for the Justice League movies and probably the solo Batman movie. When I first heard the news, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like maybe something the Onion wrote. I'm like, Onion, you smart little bastard, you. So I'm actually okay with this, only because Spider-Man 3 was in 2007, I believe. So that was almost 10 years ago. I think he has distanced himself far enough from the Spider-Man trilogy to where he can go, you know what, I can do something different in a different comic book universe and probably get away with it. I think him as Commissioner Gordon is really cool. Here's my only problem. I don't really like J.K. Simmons with hair on top of his head or on his face. And Commissioner Gordon is iconic for, his mustache and his brown hair and stuff. I'm wondering what they're going to do. They're going to put a wig on him. I mean, obviously, because I don't think he can grow it. Can he? J.K. Simmons, if you're listening, can you grow your hair? No, to be honest with you, that's the only thing I'm worried about is just how his facial hair and the top of his head's going to look. Because you know how actors, when they're bald and they put a toupee on or whatever, it looks like they struck like a raccoon on the side of the road with their car and they felt really sorry for it, and they wanted to have some hair at the same time, so they put it on top of their head. That's what it looks like. It looks like roadkill. And how's the mustache going to look? I've never seen him with facial hair, so. And there might be movies out there that he has facial hair, actually like real hair, and he might kill it. But that's the only thing I'm actually worried about. In terms of the performance, I think he's going to do a great job as Commissioner Gordon. Him going against Ben Affleck, that's fantastic. And I believe J.K. Simmons is only 10 years older than Ben Affleck, so that's kind of weird. But it's whatever. J.K. Simmons looks older than Ben Affleck, that's for sure. No, I mean, that's not a bad thing. But no, I think him as Commissioner Gordon, I'm looking forward to it. I think he'll add a great dynamic to Batman and even Alfred up to that point. I think the solo Batman movie will be really cool, which brings up the question: if he's going to be in Justice League Part 1, I gotta assume he already knows Batman's identity. And I hear the solo Batman movie is going to be kind of going back a little bit, so it might be prequel-esque to where Commissioner Gordon doesn't know. I don't know. They're going to have to, let us know or whatever, but I'm really curious to see in the timeline, because I think Justice League Part 1, it happens, the events happen after Batman v Superman, so I don't fucking know. So, but him as Commissioner Gordon, great. I'm all for it, so sign me up. The next piece of news is this is kind of a little fun one. Deadpool, Mr. Pool, is now the third highest R-rated movie domestically. It's right behind Passion of the Christ and American Sniper. If you would have told me this last year, that Deadpool would make this much money, I would have fucking laughed at you. I probably would have thrown an egg in your face and just let you go cry in the corner. But now it's kind of shocking that it's the third highest of all time domestically. Worldwide, I know The Matrix Reloaded is the highest grossing worldwide. So I don't think anything has been able to touch that. I think it's at like 750 million worldwide. I forgot the number exactly. We'll look at it in box office if I remember. But it's really funny to think about, Passion of the Christ. It's like, it's religious. It's very thought-provoking. And, American Sniper, it's all about patriotism. Deadpool, it's about those dick and fart jokes, man. And guys having their heads blown off. Like, it's pretty cool how it's in the top 3. And I'm really glad for all of its success and stuff. It totally deserves it. I'm so glad Ryan Reynolds finally got his due, because the guy's a talented actor. Regardless of what you think of him as, like Van Wilder, watch his dramatic stuff versus his comedy stuff. Yes, his comedy stuff is raunchy and it's not for everyone. Totally get it. But watch movies like Buried and The Voices. And I heard he was good in Woman in Gold. And he's just a really well-rounded actor that just doesn't get enough praise because people just see him as Van Wilder, rightfully so, because that was like the first major breakout role that he had, and Waiting. And that was also a gross R-rated movie, which I like Waiting, by the way. It's really funny. But, third highest grossing R-rated movie domestically. Well, I told you to go fuck yourself with a cactus last year if you said that, but numbers don't lie, man. So the next piece of news is that Dwayne Johnson released a picture on his Instagram of him and Alexandra Daddario looking sexy in her bathing kind of Baywatch outfit. And, it's to promote Baywatch and stuff. And there were also pictures floating around of, like, Zac Efron looking buff as ever. Like, holy fuck, man. Like, you go look at those pictures. Like, his six-pack is, like, in 3D, and it's, like, poking me in the face, like, as, like, I'm on the website. It's like, whoa, Efron, just calm that down. Put your shirt back on. He looks fucking ripped. I don't know what diet he's on or whatever, but Efron's looked ripped in every single movie. But, like, those Baywatch photos, he's fucking jacked. Like, he looks almost as, like, big as Dwayne Johnson. It's like, what the fuck is that kid eating? You know what's really funny is, like, when I heard about this Baywatch news, I was like, oh my, really? What are we doing, folks? But then I started thinking, if they take it in a route like a 21 Jump Street, where they completely make fun of themselves and they're self-aware and it's just like super R-rated and just raunchy and dirty and it's pulled off well, it can be one of the funniest fucking movies ever made by the Hollywood anus. Like, Hollywood just poops it out and it's just like, that was a good one. That wasn't actual shit. That was like, it was good. I'll accept it. So it's just why am I just talking about a picture? Dwayne Johnson is a social media machine. Him and Vin Diesel both are really good on social media, and they love to advertise their projects coming up and stuff. And I just love the fact that Dwayne Johnson is so passionate about his projects, because he posts pictures all the time about all this stuff, like including Fast and Furious. He did it when he was cast as Black Adam in the Shazam movie. But showing this picture, not only, I'm comfortable with my sexuality. They both look good in the picture. Dwayne Johnson, he looks ripped. All the women love him and stuff. And then Alexandra Daddario is one of the most beautiful women on the face of the planet. And we all remember episode 2 from True Detective season 1. Yes. But not to perv out, though. But she looks like she would work really well in the role. And she's a great actress. If you watch True Detective, there's actually like layers of depth to her character and stuff. And I haven't really seen her in a comedy, like, at all. So I kind of want to see her kind of just go all out and just be dirty and stuff and have some great comedic timing, and she could be one of the best parts about the movie. So is the picture sexy? Absolutely. Is it great to promote the movie? Sure. If it's going to be just like a 21 Jump Street in the vein of that, I'm looking forward to it. Never thought I'd say it in a million years, but Baywatch actually, it could look like a really great comedy if delivered right. The next piece of news is, this is kind of like a no shit duh piece of news. Disney came out and they said that Chewbacca will have an origin story in the Han Solo movie, the young Han Solo movie. Yeah, kind of saw that coming. Listen, Chewbacca and Han Solo, they're a pair. You can't make a movie without the other. So having Chewbacca not in there would be fucking weird. So yes, Disney, thank you. Thank you for letting me know that Chewbacca will be in there. I kind of expected it. But it's going to be really cool to see a young Han Solo movie and kind of see like just him growing up and him scavenging around junkyards and like ripping people off and running into Chewbacca. It's like, how did he run into him? How their friendship form? Was it actually rough at first? Did they get along at first? I want to know all that shit. And I'm not saying I'm like super excited for it because I told you guys a million times. I'll say it again. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. But I'm interested in these anthology type of movies where they focus on a story in a specific time. Like I'm looking forward to Rogue One that is coming out later this year. I think it'll be interesting. I kind of want to see who the Rebels. The Rebels, right? The Rebels taking over the planets of the Death Star. See, I remember some plot points. I do have a hard time distinguishing certain aspects about Star Wars, and I look like an idiot, but whatever. But yeah, this kind of like a no shit thing, Disney. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know. Okay, moving on. And the last piece of news I want to talk about, this is an interesting one, is that they're going to make a new Tomb Raider movie. They're going to kind of reboot it. So it's not going to be anything like the Angelina Jolie movies, but they're going to reboot it in the vein of like the 2013 game where it was like that more like kind of grittier Indiana Jones female version type of game. And when I was living with my roommates in college, one of them was a massive Tomb Raider fan, and he was playing the game, and it looked really cool. And I actually started playing it a little bit, and I loved the graphics in the game. It was really crisp and beautiful. Lara Croft looked amazing. She looked like an actual like heroine instead of like, you know, a pixelated, you know, giant boob looking thing walking around. She actually looked rugged. She looked like she'd been through some shit. It looked like she's run into people that she shouldn't be running into, and she looked like someone that's just a really good person at going on an adventure and going through the woods and stuff, and you know, just doing all that shit. So I'm not the biggest video game person, so I sound stupid right now. Whatever. But yeah, in terms of the game, it's really cool. And I even said to him, and we kind of agree, like, I really hope they make this into a movie. It's 2016, so, you know, it's 3 years later, and they are. And the rumor is they have a lot of people in consideration for Lara Croft, such as Alicia Vikander and Felicity Jones. But the top name in this whole list is Daisy Ridley. She played Rey in Star Wars: The Force Awakens. That is her resume. And she'll also be in Episode 8 and stuff. She was literally on a set of a movie for like 2 weeks before Force Awakens. And then she just she went to Force Awakens, and boom, now she's a superstar. But she's rumored to play Lara Croft. I'm actually okay with this. Like she kind of looks like Lara Croft, like the kind of like the reimagined version from the 2013 game. She proved in Force Awakens she could be a badass. She can be charming. She can be witty. She can kick ass with a lightsaber and stuff. So I actually do want to see her take on this Lara Croft role and kind of have this franchise of an Indiana Jones that we haven't really had in a long time. And I think a lot of people will appreciate that, especially fans of Tomb Raider, because when I was playing the rebooted game for a little bit, or just watching my friends play it, it looked like Indiana Jones. It looked so cool and so much fun and stuff. And I think Daisy really could bring that. She is engaging to watch. Your eye is drawn to her. She was one of my favorite parts about The Force Awakens. I loved her. She was just absolutely adorable, and like I couldn't take my eyes off her. Like that's how electric she was on screen. And I think putting her in a Lara Croft movie is great. And someone mentioned this on another podcast I listened to. The only problem is if she can actually distinguish herself from her character in Star Wars, because they're not the same character, but they have similar attributes, to the whole like heroine thing and just kicking ass and stuff. I don't want it to come across as like a Rey 2.0. I want it to be like Lara Croft, her own character. So that would be my only trepidation. But other than that, I think this is a great idea. So get on that. I don't know who's making Tomb Raider, but if you haven't offered Daisy Ridley by now, offered her the part, fucking do that, please. So, but if not, Felicity Jones and Alicia Vikander, shit, I'm for both of those women too. Like they're both amazing actresses. So either one of those is great. But if Daisy Ridley is cast as Lara Croft, I think my friend would be happy. I think I would be happy with it. So, excuse me. Yeah, I think that's a great piece of news. So that's it for the news, guys. What was your favorite news story this week? My favorite have to be probably J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon in the Justice League and probably the solo Batman movie. So that will be fun. All right, so let's move on to a couple trailers that dropped this week. You guys know I'm going to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it last because everyone wants to fucking know about the Civil War trailer. But there was another trailer that came out, and I got to give it some love too because I'm really looking forward to it. Let me take a drink real fast. Sorry about that. So the other trailer that came out that got a little shadowed by Civil War is Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping. And this is the Lonely Island movie. It stars Andy Samberg. And the basic way I could tell you about like what it is Andy Samberg, he's like he looks like a 30-year-old version of Justin Bieber, and he does pop music, and like it's shot in a mockumentary style, so it kind of follows him and his entourage around. It looks so funny. I really like it. And Judd Apatow is producing it. And when we get to this movie in just a second in the South by Southwest lineup, I can tell you that if Pop Star hits, Judd Apatow is going to have 2 big hits of the year. Not writing or directing, but just producing, but still that's a huge win for him. But Pop Star looks great. It looks like a really fresh and inventive mockumentary idea. I hear Andy Samberg's 7 Days of Hell, his like tennis mockumentary on HBO was like fucking hilarious. So if it's anything like that, I'm really looking forward to Pop Star. And I said this in 2000. Oh, it came out in 2007, 6, or 8? I forgot. It was one of those years. It was definitely when I was in high school. When Hot Rod came out, I was like, you know what? That was such an enjoyably stupid movie. Like it is. It's stupid humor at its finest. It reminded me of like an Anchorman or like a Dumb and Dumber, and it was really funny, even though the humor was like super stupid. But I laughed. There was just something about the delivery and the timing from Samberg and Yorma Tacone, or I forgot his other Lonely Island partner, and then like Danny McBride, Bill Hader also in the movie, and Hot Rod's a classic. It just is. No one ever talks about that movie, but Andy Samberg is funny in that one. He kills it. So I'm really looking forward to Pop Star. I'm looking forward to see the Lonely Island finally bring a movie idea to the big screen. I want to see how well it's received. I kind of wish it was shown at South by Southwest because it seems like the appropriate place to drop it at. But I mean, that's okay. It comes out in a few months, so it's not too bad. But it looks really funny. It looks like a great time at the theaters. And I've been a huge Lonely Island fan ever since their first one dropped, Like a Boss, when I was in high school. The first ever kind of music video they did themselves and stuff. And, they're behind all the digital shorts on SNL. The first one they ever did was on SNL. Digital short, and that would be Lazy Sunday. Sorry, kind of blank there, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to Pop Star. Never Stop, Never Stopping. What a great title. It just looks so much fun, and produced by Judd Apatow. And if that one's a hit, he'll have his second hit of the year. Because, like I said, I'll get to that. The number 1 hit that he's got coming up in my lineup. You guys are gonna be really excited when I talk about that. All right, and the last and final trailer of the week, the biggest one by far, Captain America Civil War Trailer 2. Now, I usually don't discuss second trailers on this podcast unless it's like super different or add stuff in there that needs to be talked about. But this one needed to be talked about. First of all, it's a great trailer. It really adds like that sense of dread and that misery between all these Avengers. I love the fact that they're taking it in this route. I don't want it to be hunky-dory. I want them kicking the shit out of each other, just doing a bunch of nut shots and just everyone just crying on the ground and stuff. That's what I look forward to in Civil War. So the trailer's good. It shows more Black Panther. It showed Ant-Man in action. It showed the Vision like getting on his fucking knees from the Scarlet Witch. It showed Black Panther slicing up Bucky's bike, and there's just so many cool shots like that. But the one shot you guys are talking about and the one shot you want me to talk about and get it over with is Spider-Man. Now, they showed Spider-Man at the end of the trailer. Now, if you don't want to watch the trailer, that's fine. And you kind of just want to be surprised in the movie. I totally get that. But yeah, he's literally in the trailer for like 2 seconds. He says one sentence, and I gotta tell you, I love the costume design. I like the fact that Tom Holland's playing him because he's actually like a legit person playing that age. As much as like Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, and Amazing Spider-Man are cool movies, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were damn near 30 years old when they did their first Spider-Mans. Tom Holland, I believe, is like 20 years old. So he's a lot closer to the teenage Spider-Man, the route that they're going with this new version of Spider-Man. I gotta tell you, I like the suit. I like the mechanics in the eyes because it seems like that's what Tony Stark would put on the suit. Because I have a feeling Tony Stark is the one that creates the suit, and so the eyes look cool. Tom Holland's voice sounds cool. He sounds like Peter Parker. So I don't know why people are complaining about it that much. People are demanding, where's Spider-Man? Show him in the trailer. They show him in the trailer, and then people lose their shit. They're just like, well, shit, that's not what I expect. Like, what'd you expect? Like, I don't fucking get it. Like, he looked fine. He sounded fine. And it was cool. He's holding Captain America's shield and everything. It was, so cool. So I really like the trailer. Spider-Man looks cool. I cannot fucking wait for this movie. Civil War, ladies and gentlemen, it's fucking coming. All right, so that's it for the trailers this week. I know kind of a slow trailer week, but you know, what are you going to do? So what was your favorite trailer of the week? It's probably going to be Civil War. But I want to know what you guys thought about Popstar. What you guys think about that one? Does it look funny? Are you a fan of the Lonely Island? Are you a fan of Hot Rod? Let me know in the comments down below. Right in my face. All right, so let's get into the meat. Let's get into the meat of this podcast. The appetizers are out of the way. They are pushed to the side. I fucking ate them up. I licked the plate, and I threw the plate on the wall. We're getting into a new plate now, and we're getting to the bulk of this podcast. The title of the podcast of what you've all probably clicked on for is my review of 10 Cloverfield Lane. I'm going to jump right into my South by Southwest rundown that I saw over Friday and Saturday. So let's do 10 Cloverfield Lane first. Let's get that movie review out of the way. So I saw this Thursday night, the day before I went to South by. So I was like, I have to catch this because I'm looking forward to it so much. Little backstory. I was a senior in high school when the first Cloverfield came out. I was blown away by it. It was a really great, suspenseful monster movie. I actually liked the found footage in it. I thought it added to the terror more, sense of realism and stuff. I loved it. It wasn't too shaky. It was shown just right. And there were a couple shots that were definitely planned, but they were shot very well. Where, like, you know, they're running with the camera or whatever, and the camera would like flip up because the cameraman wants to see the monster, and the monster would like come in at a diagonal across the camera. There's shots like that that like just made me like, ooh, like super giddy inside. So after I saw Cloverfield in 2008, I own that movie, by the way. It's somewhere in my collection. But I love that movie to death. And I've been waiting for 8 years for someone to do a fucking sequel, whether it be a prequel, sequel, whatever, to this kind of universe, because I love Cloverfield so much. And I got to tell you, 10 Cloverfield Lane did not disappoint. So let's get real and break this down. All right, so 10 Cloverfield Lane is directed by Dan Trachtenberg, and this is actually his first feature film. Yeah, fucking crazy, right? And it's written by a bunch of writers, and the third writer I do remember is Damien Chazelle, and he wrote and directed Whiplash. So there you go. And so let's start with the writing. In terms of the story, I love the fact that they took this route, because the first one focuses on apparently I'm tongue-tied today. So it focuses on the monster destroying the city. So it's a more larger scale type of movie. And we do focus on these three characters, but it's more about the monster and them just trying to survive. I love the fact that the sequel was a lot smaller. It was more intimate. It was more suspenseful. Trapping these characters in a bunker and just having the tension kind of ride out through that is genius. And I don't spoil anything on this podcast, so I will only say this. The way the story ends does leave it open for another one. Now, someone asked me after I got done watching it, is this a direct sequel? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know whether this is a prequel, a sequel, or if it happens at the same time. But what I do appreciate about this franchise is that if they do a third one, which I hope they do, is that it's a different story in a different area with different characters, but it's still encompassed by this giant monster, that we saw in Cloverfield and stuff, and all the crap that came along with it, whether with all of its other alien buddies or whatever. So I love that. It's kind of like an anthology series a little bit, with just like that one thread throughout, which is the monster, but they're different stories. Because the first one is a found footage monster movie. This one is like an X-Files, Twilight Zone type of atmosphere. And it's almost Hitchcockian in a little bit. Like, it's super suspenseful. It's brimming with tension. And there's so much there that just it keeps you on the edge of your seat the entire time. It does not slow down. So the story is top notch, and so is the writing. There was a lot of twists and turns. I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize they were going to go that route. But they were all great surprises. It was just a really great movie-going experience. And that goes with the directing as well. That director knows how to build tension. It just kept stacking and stacking and stacking to a point where it fucking burst. And the third act is where people have the most problem with it. I gotta tell you, I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was fine because I thought like the way the movie ended, it still clouds itself in mystery, and it keeps me fascinated within this universe, if you guys get my drift. So if they keep it this mysterious, but just leave a little bit on the table for us to kind of grasp and kind of put stuff together, I'm okay with that. I don't need to be spoon-fed. If you give us like, kind of an open-ended ending and there was some stuff that was kind of unanswered or whatever, if you deliver it in a very smart and good way, it doesn't look like it's forced or looked like it was choppy. It looked like it flowed very well. And for me personally, I thought the third act was fine. It flowed well. It was kind of terrifying and creepy. And it does end on a possible another installment in this franchise. I don't want to call it a sequel because it probably won't be. It'll probably be an installment. So I like the way it ended. The director really knew how to build characters and the tension. It was great. Acting-wise, John fucking Goodman. This guy, man, this is the best I've seen him in quite some time. He was creepy, but somehow you wanted to keep watching. You're just like, what are you going to do, man? So John Goodman was so good as the villain. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who I've said for years that she is extremely underrated. Every movie I've seen her in, she always brings it, regardless if it's a shit movie or not. Because the first thing I saw her in was Final Destination 3. Not really the best movie, but, I mean, she delivered a good performance, and I was drawn to her by that movie. She was also in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I love that movie. Go see that one if you haven't. So she does great. John Gallagher Jr., he's fine. He services the movie and services the story. But there's a scene in the movie where it's like they try to get into some character development. I'm just like, I really don't care about you, bud. I'm sorry. I really don't. But stuff that involve his character, like certain events or whatever, I did kind of, get involved in at that point. But in terms of like his backstory, I just didn't really care about. Because this movie really focuses on John Goodman's character and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Because I just think their odd chemistry works so well with him being the villain and being really creepy and her wanting to get the fuck out of there. So love the acting all around. Cinematography-wise, loved it. I love the fact that this cinematographer took advantage of the bunker and really just kind of made it claustrophobic and super intimate. That way, when these scenes between these characters got to a boiling point and they would get super pissed at each other or they're trying to like just communicate or whatever. I feel it. I feel like I was in the room with them and stuff, and it just adds a more intimate atmosphere and a creepier kind of claustrophobic tone to it. So love the cinematography. It was really well done. Editing wise, I think the movie's about an hour and 40 minutes, hour 45. Movie flies by. For me personally, the movie, like literally, if it was 3D, it grabbed you by the throat and did not let go. As soon as the movie starts, the movie does not waste any time. Within 5 minutes, we're getting the ball rolling. Like, yeah, they had to set up some stuff, but like once the first major event happens in the movie, it's a non-stop thrill ride for me. I was hooked from beginning to end. Like I said, twists and turns. It felt like an X-Files episode and Twilight Zone. It was so mysterious. I was like, I want to know everything. I want to know it all, but I know that J.J. Abrams is not going to fucking give it to us all. But for me personally, I just thought it flew by. That pace was there. It was rock solid. It was a great rhythm. Guys, this is a great movie in general. And now, like I said, is it like a direct sequel? I can't tell. I'm just telling you the truth. I honestly can't tell what it is. But what I can tell you is, regardless if it was not in the Cloverfield universe and it was just a monster movie, it's a damn good one. But the fact that it's JJ's quotes, a blood relative, come on. So that means they are in this universe in some way, shape, or form. I am excited to see the next installment or whatever they do. Different story, different area, different characters. Love it. Keep it going. I love that method for this type of franchise. So this is a rock solid thriller. It just is. It's a damn good thriller, and I had such a great time watching this. Huge fan of the series. I'm going to go pretty big with this one, guys. I'm going to give 10 Cloverfield Lane an A. That's what I thought about it. I think it's a really great thriller that if you like thrillers, you should go see. But just know going in, it is not a direct sequel to Cloverfield, but it does leave open-ended questions for you to kind of connect it and be like, ooh, and kind of theorize and stuff. So that is my thoughts on that. So with that being said, what would you guys think of 10 Cloverfield Lane? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Whatever. Comment in the place to open my face and let me know. Okay, now let's do it. Let's get into the 2016 South by Southwest Part 1 edition. And I saw 7 movies. I'm going to give you a rundown just briefly of what I thought, little blurbs or whatever. And if you want a full review, like I said, my YouTube page will have these full reviews in depth of the movies. If you want to know more about it and know the grade, go for it. But in terms of this, I'm just going to kind of briefly run down for it so I don't waste you guys' time. And I'm doing a part 1 because next weekend I'm also doing movies on Friday and Saturday at South by Southwest. And next week's episode will definitely be South by Southwest Part 2 and probably a movie that comes out, maybe The Bronze or something. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that far. It might just be South by Southwest. But yeah, so this is Part 1. Next week will be Part 2, and I'll end it next week. So it's just going to be 2 parts. So overall, how is the festival so far? I think it's great. To be honest with you, most of these movies I'm about to talk about, they're all great. They're all good, at least. And there was one that was shit, and I'll get to that in just a second. But overall, I haven't been disappointed. I've had fun. I've seen a bunch of celebrities. For each movie, I'll mention who was at the screening and stuff, so that way I don't spoil it for you guys. So I enjoy myself. It's crowded as all hell. I walked around. I went to like 5 different theaters throughout my journey and stuff, and all of them are great. I love the Draft House down there. But you know what? For us Dallas folks, we got a new one built in Dallas, and it's pretty dope. So I'm not going to lie. It kind of competes with it a little bit. So what movies did I see? That's what you guys are like, shut the fuck up and tell us. All right. So on Friday, I saw 3 of them. So let's start with the first one, and that would be Sing Street. Now, Sing Street is essentially about a boy who starts a band to impress a girl. That's about it. But what I can tell you is that I didn't know what to expect, but I heard great things from Sundance. I love this movie, like quite a bit, actually. I love just the tone of it and the kids in it. They're super charming and funny, and There's a lot of emotional depth to this that I wasn't really expecting. I love some of the smaller, quieter moments, but then I love the loud moments when the kids were in their band and doing their thing, and I loved all the characters involved. It was just a really feel-good movie that kind of just, it makes you want to stand up and go, you know what? I haven't accomplished this dream yet. I'm going to fucking go for it. So I really enjoyed Sing Street, and this was a great start to the festival. So, yeah, that's about it. If you want an in-depth review, like I said, YouTube page, should all these reviews will be up within a few days or whatever, so just look out for them. But Sing Street, highly recommend it. Like I said, I will not have grades for these just yet because I got to think about them just a hair bit more. But I recommend Sing Street. It was funny, it was charming, and it was almost like another version of School of Rock, kind of. I mean, not really, but I mean, you guys, it's kind of had like that atmosphere of that where it was like it's just fun, exciting, and you just wanted to follow these kids around, like making their music and stuff because they're just all likable and whatnot. So I really enjoyed Sing Street. Now, the second movie I saw, whoo, God help me. All right, it is The Greasy Strangler. Now, okay, so I saw it with a packed house, and the site that I went for, South by Southwest, is We Live Film. You can check them out on YouTube. That link will be in the description below. Check them out and stuff. That's who I'm covering these movies for. And Scott Menzel is, is the founder or whatever. And he said that The Greasy Strangler was the worst thing he saw at Sundance. So I was like, I was expecting, something kind of like that. Yeah, he was right. Listen, this is not a good movie. It is an awful movie. It is a shitty movie. However, let's put that little asterisk right there in the corner. It kind of borderlines on it's so bad it's good. Like, it's an awful movie. The acting is atrocious. The way this thing is edited and put together is atrocious. The music is over blaring, and it just need to calm that shit down. The cinematography is very flat. The director's lazy, uses some of the same shots. The prosthetic penises are pretty fucking gross. Yeah, it's that type of movie. And did I mention the acting was atrocious? It was atrocious. However, there was one actor that was so monotone throughout the entire movie, he actually committed to that. And I was like, I got to give him props. So, is this a great movie? Hell to the fuck no. But if you want to watch like a really bad movie and just kind of enjoy yourself, is it kind of like on that Troll 2, like maybe The Room level? I'd say yeah. Will I watch it again? No. But if a group of people want to watch it, sure. Why not? But in terms of like in the moment, just enjoying it as a bad movie, I'd probably give it a higher grade in terms of that. But as like a movie, I give it a pretty low score. But on the so bad it's good, I might give it just a little higher just because it was entertaining in some parts. So The Greasy Strangler, not for me. Moving on. And third and final one that I saw on Friday is Don't Breathe. Now you're thinking to yourself, what the fuck is this? Okay, so I was scheduled to see the untitled Fede Alvarez movie, and it was untitled, so I didn't know what it was called or whatever. I just went to go stand in line and just went from there. Now, Fede Alvarez is the guy that directed the Evil Dead remake back in 2013, so I was really looking forward to this guy. I love the Evil Dead remake. Listen, Bruce Campbell, you were my spirit animal. Let's get that out of the way. And I love the Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. Love that whole trilogy. And I even love the TV show on Starz. However, the first Evil Dead, I actually prefer the remake over it. However, on the flip side, I like Evil Dead 2 more than anything else, everything that's come out so far. So it's really weird with me. But I love what Fede Alvarez did with the new Evil Dead. It was so colorful and bright. And I love the gore, just the way it was shot. The cinematography was beautiful. It was rich in color. And the sound design was great. It was a really good remake. I really liked it a lot. So I was looking forward to whatever he made next. So he gets up on stage, and Fede Alvarez was like, all right, so this movie's untitled. Now we're going to fucking title this thing right now. It's called Don't Breathe. So I was like, oh, okay. See, I didn't know much about the movie. I just knew that it was a thriller. a ghost house thriller. That's what they labeled it as. So Fede Alvarez was like, you guys are the first ones to see this. Sony has not put it out because Sony has kept this quiet. I didn't hear anything about trailers, pictures, or whatever. And so we got to see the movie before Sony probably butchered it with their fucking marketing. So with that said, the movie starts, and the movie is about a blind guy who gets robbed, and basically these kids that try to rob the blind man, they try to escape because he's kind of crazy. I gotta tell you, I loved it. I really thought it was brimming with that suspense and that tension. Like the whole time you felt nervous. You're like, what the fuck is gonna happen? The use of the house was really good. This director and the cinematographer used every nook and cranny of the house, and you felt like you were there. I loved a couple sequences in the movie that was like something I hadn't really seen in kind of like a horror thriller type of movie. It was just really entertaining, and it kind of reminded me of like an 80s or 70s type of thriller or whatever. It was super simple. It was all in the house, and I loved it, man. So I would highly recommend Don't Breathe. It is Fede Alvarez's follow-up, and look out for that one because that'll probably be kind of like a fall-time release, but I highly suggest Don't Breathe. Okay, so moving on to Saturday, which was literally yesterday at the time of this recording, I saw 4 movies. And the first one is Hunt for the Wilder People. And this stars Sam Neill, and it's directed by Taika Waititi, I believe. And he's the director of What We Do in the Shadows. And he's also directing Thor Ragnarok, which is interesting. And I really liked What We Do in the Shadows. It was really cool, funny mockumentary. And I watched it after a breakup. And that was definitely a movie that like brought up my spirits and stuff. It was just super funny. This one, the story is this kid gets dropped off by child services at this farm, and he goes on this adventure with the male, the dad or whatever, the guy that adopted him. And they go on this adventure in the woods and stuff, and it leads into like a wanted missing persons case. It was so weird, but I gotta tell you, it was really charming. It was super funny. Like I was laughing at some parts. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this. But there was also a lot of smaller moments that were really just kind of emotional. I was like, oh wow, like this is a really good balance because it goes from this outlandish comedy to these really kind of moments with depth and stuff. And I was like, this works. It's kind of weird and jarring, but it really works for this type of story with its tone and its charm and its atmosphere. There was just something about it that had a smile on my face. And I enjoyed watching it. I prefer What We Do in the Shadows a lot more, but I would highly suggest you check this one out. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. So Hunt for the Wilder People, check it out when you can. So the next movie up is Midnight Special. So this is directed by one of my favorite directors working today is Jeff Nichols. He did Take Shelter, Mud, now Midnight Special. He also did Shotgun Stories. I didn't see that one, but I've seen the previous 2. So now I've seen 3. Midnight Special to me is a type of movie that had the potential. It was all there, but it never reached that level of like awe or like wow type of level. I really liked it and I enjoyed it quite a bit, but it just wasn't grand. Like Take Shelter is a very underrated movie of his. That one is a grand story. It ends on a very good climax. Mud's the same way. This one is fine. It's good. The performances are there. There's intrigue there. You want to know why this kid is running away from the FBI and stuff. And just for you guys that don't know, Midnight Special, this little kid has kind of superpowers, and his dad takes him on this road trip to get him away from the FBI and stuff. And it's just basically a chase movie. They're chasing them down. Like I said, it was fine. I liked it. There were parts of it I really enjoyed, but it was like, okay, I liked it. But I wasn't like, oh shit, like you gotta go see that quick. To this day, I think Take Shelter is his best movie, followed by Mud, then Midnight Special. It's hard to, kind of say that, but I really liked it. I liked the performances. The special effects were kind of cool. There was some stuff that was like, okay. And there was some stuff that were like, ooh, that's definitely some ET looking shit. Yeah, it was fine. It was a fine movie. And would I recommend it? I'd say so. If you're a fan of Jeff Nichols and his movie, go ahead and check this one out for sure. But that's not like my favorite one of the festival so far. The next one I want to talk about is Demolition, and this stars Jake Gyllenhaal. And basically, this guy loses his wife, and we're basically following him through the grievance process and the loss of a human being, someone that you loved and cared about, is the subject of the film. And I forgot to mention, for Midnight Special, Jeff Nichols was there, Kirsten Dunst, Joel Edgerton, and the little kid and Michael Shannon. So that was kind of cool to see. For Demolition, the director was there, and Jake Gyllenhaal was there. So that was kind of cool to see Jake in person, because huge Gyllenhaal fan. But how was Demolition? So it was directed by the guy that did Dallas Buyers Club and Wild. I liked it. It was interesting. I've never kind of seen a movie take that approach to grievance and loss and stuff, because it's more of like a dark comedy. This is a character that lost his wife and it doesn't really seem to affect him at all. Like, he carries it throughout his day, and there's a lot of humorous moments and stuff. But I mean, at the end, you'll see his character arc. But I really was surprised on how funny it was and how light they were taking on this subject, which is super dark, of, someone dying that you're married to, and you just, okay. But it was interesting because I've never seen a movie about grief or loss take this kind of like dark comedic approach. So I thought that was kind of intriguing. Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal is really good. I really like Naomi Watts. She's really good. And don't be fooled. Just because I say, like, it's really funny and stuff, and it has like this dark comedic atmosphere to it, there's a lot of emotional moments. Like, there are some hard-ass emotional moments. And you're like, oh my God, like, that took a left turn quick. But it happens more towards like the end and stuff, and it's kind of like it kind of coincides with like Jake Gyllenhaal's feelings and his character finally coming to the acceptance that his wife is gone and stuff. So, like I said, it's just really interesting to see someone go through the grievance process or loss and act the way he does, because he acts like everything's normal, and it just doesn't really affect him. And people are different when it goes to that. Like, I've lost pets and stuff, and relatives, and people like go through their grief and loss in different ways. So I thought this was a very interesting approach. I really liked it. I kind of want to watch it again, just to kind of understand it a little bit more. But in the moment, I'd say I really recommend this one. And the final one. Okay, folks. So I was waiting in line at like 1 o'clock in the morning. This movie didn't even start until 1:30. It was the middle of the time change for daylight savings time, so we didn't even get out until 3:30. We're supposed to get out at like 2:30 or 3 or whatever. It was way longer. So that movie is Keanu. This is the Key and Peele movie. Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele. They are the stars of Key and Peele. And Keanu is about this little cat that goes up to Jordan Peele's character, and some drug lords take it, and they try to go get Keanu back. That's basically it. I had so much fun with this movie. It was entertaining from start to finish. I'm a huge fan of Key and Peele. And a lot of people are like, yeah, from the show, right? No, actually, I was actually a fan of theirs when they were on Mad TV. My top 5 favorite Mad TV cast members have to be Michael McDonald, Aries Spears, Keegan-Michael Key, Jordan Peele, and Deborah Wilson. I've always loved them, and I'll add people like Frank Caliendo and like Will Sasso, so maybe like a top 10. But they're definitely in there, because Mad TV went through a slew of changes. They had like certain cast members for like when they started, and then in the middle, and then towards the end. And Key and Peele were towards like the latter half of Mad TV's kind of career. But they were really funny. I was like, man, that's really great. But once the show was canceled, I was like, okay, bye everyone. So they were definitely 2 of my favorite members on the Mad TV slate. But everyone on Mad TV is pretty funny for the most part. But there are certain people that stick out, like the ones I just mentioned. I obviously, because I remember their names and whatnot. And then people like Ike Barinholtz, who was on the latter half of Mad TV. I didn't really like him on the show, but now he's like starting to be really funny in movies. I'm just like, dude, Ike, where's this been at? So I've been a huge fan of them since their Mad TV days. I love Key and Peele. I love that show. It's really funny. My friends actually introduced it to me. They're just two funny guys. I got to tell you, this movie's really fucking funny. It just is. I was tired at 1:30. This movie basically woke me up, and it was like an adrenaline rush. The whole movie from start to finish was enjoyable. It was entertaining. I loved their characters. I loved kind of like the arcs they went through as characters. It was kind of cool. And, you know, Keanu was like the most adorable fucking kitten in the world. The action scenes were really good. Most of the humor hits. And they do a lot of stereotype humor. But the way Key and Peele does it, it's so fresh. It feels original. I felt like I never watched a movie with black stereotypes ever. But that movie does it well. And it's produced by Judd Apatow, like I said earlier in the show. If Keanu hits and Popstar hits, Judd Apatow is going to have a great fucking year for his company. So, Keanu, I recommend this one highly. If you are a huge fan of Key and Peele, definitely check this one out when it comes out next month. And I'll have a full review on this one and all my South by Southwest movies on my YouTube channel. Just take a look out for those for the next couple days or whatever. So there you go. So that's it, guys. That is the South by Southwest roundup. What movie out of the ones that I've seen so far are you most curious about? And you know, I'll try to answer as much as possible with your questions without spoiling anything. So yeah, just ask me down below if you have any questions or whatever, and which ones you're most excited about. So let's get into the last part of the podcast, which is the box office. Yeah. All right. So what is the top 5 for the weekend? Let's pull these numbers up. Okay, so first of all, I got to say the Brothers Grimsby came out this weekend. It came out in 8th place. Sasha, I love you, buddy. Borat was good. Bruno was good. After that, I think you need to stop. I think this just shows that no one cares anymore. No one freaking cares. It made $3.1 million. Ouch. So, and it opened in like 2,200 theaters. So, sorry, Sasha. I might check that one on Redbox, but I'm not paying for it in the theater. So, number 5, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot with $4.6 million. Right now, domestically, it's got 14 on a budget of 35. Not doing good because the rule is, guys, if the budget is shown double that, and that's when they break even because, you know, theaters got to take their cuts and all that stuff. It all works out in the end. Plus, you got to add marketing and whatnot. All right, so number 4 is London Has Fallen with $10.6 million. All right, so right now domestically, which is the U.S. and Canada, it's $38 million on a budget of 60. So it needs to make about 120 to break even. That's not good. Number 3, Deadpool with $10.8 million, so it barely scraped by. Right now, Deadpool is looking at $708 million. Worldwide, which is insane. And domestically, it's got 328. And it's the third highest grossing R-rated movie of all time on a budget of 58. Fox is like, they're probably throwing a party every single week, every time Deadpool makes more and more money. Just to give you guys a little insight into how much it is from American Sniper and Passion of the Christ. Deadpool's at 328. American Sniper is at number 2 with 350. And Passion of the Christ is at 370. Can Deadpool top that? Maybe, because Batman v Superman comes out in 2 weeks. So if that comes out and Deadpool's still in theaters, you know, and people see Batman v Superman, they're super hyped up and they want to see those superhero movie right off the bat, they might go see Deadpool a second time or a third time or something. So I think it'll do number 2 for sure. But to be Passion of the Christ, that would be interesting because Passion of the Christ has held that spot for 12 years now. So, that'd be fucking crazy. But yeah, I think Batman v Superman will definitely help Deadpool's chances. Number 2 is, once my computer will stop fucking up, is 10 Cloverfield Lane with $25.2 million. Now, the budget is unlisted, and worldwide it made about 26. So it made about $1 million extra overseas. Guarantee the budget was low. I'm going to say the budget was probably 10 or 12 million, maybe even lower than that. And 25 opening weekend is great for this movie. While I got you guys, and since this is live and I can do it, I'm going to look up Cloverfield's numbers. Okay, so Cloverfield was a $25 million budget, but it made $80 million domestically and $170 worldwide. So it made a shit ton of money back. So that's pretty cool. So what was its opening weekend? Okay, so Cloverfield's opening weekend was $40 million. So a little less, but, you know, I think for being 8 years apart and not even really being connected to Cloverfield, like, directly, 25 is pretty good. So I give that major props. And number one for the second weekend in a row is Zootopia. Now, it opened with, what was it, like 75 million. So opened up with 75 million last weekend. It made 50 more million this weekend. It only dropped like 33%. That's really good. I can't praise Zootopia high enough. I gave it an A+. It is a perfect animated movie. It is so adult. The animation is beautiful. The world building is great. The voice casting is perfect. Go see this movie. Right now, domestically, it's made 142, and worldwide, it's almost made $500 million. It's at 431 right now. That's crazy. I never even thought Zootopia would make that much, but that's awesome, man. Go see Zootopia if you haven't. It's more for adults than kids, but I think both age groups will enjoy it. So that's it, guys. That is the end of this episode. I want to thank you guys for listening or tuning in or whatever. And if you're watching on YouTube and you want an audio-only version of this podcast, link will be in the description below. If you're listening on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, or iTunes, and you want a video version, link will be in the description below. I want to thank you guys for listening every single week. You guys are fucking awesome. Next week, like I said, I'll do my part 2 coverage of South by Southwest with like 7 to 10 more films, just depending on how tired I am. And I'll review another movie, probably either The Bronze or Midnight Special. I don't know. I'll do something, especially for like all you guys that don't watch my YouTube stuff, and you want to wait until next week for Midnight Special. I might just do that because Midnight Special comes out next weekend, so I might do Midnight Special and South by Southwest Part 2. So that will probably be most likely, or The Bronze, like I said. Haven't figured it out. I'll do it next weekend. But this has been episode 121. You guys have a good day, good night, whenever the hell you're listening to us. Follow me at Real Chasely right here at the bottom of the screen on YouTube. And all the links in the description will be below for my YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff, where you can find me for We Live Film or Dallas movie screenings, because I'm kind of a whore. I'm a film critic whore. I just kind of go wherever's needed and just kind of throw myself out there. So that's how I roll. So this has been Reel Me In, a movie podcast. If I haven't convinced you to like movies and you listen to this entire podcast, well, hopefully I convinced you to be one. A fan of movies is a great thing. It's great to talk about these things. So I'll see you guys next week for episode 122. I'm going to play the outro music, and that's done by my friends band Fervent Roze. Check them out. Link in the description below. I'm Chase Lee. This has been Reel Me In, the movie podcast. You guys keep it awesome. You guys are badass. See you next week. South by Southwest, baby. It was fucking dope. Key and Peele were on stage. I forgot to mention that. So that's kind of important. Yeah, they came and they were on stage. It was great to see them in person. Okay. Bye, everyone. Keanu is the most adorable kitten. See you guys later.